Okay, so in this video, we're going to talk about the extrude boss base feature in Solidworks. So what this does is it'll take a 2D sketch and then make it 3D by taking that profile and extending it normal to the surface that it's drawn. So that's really the fundamental building block to building 3D objects in SolidWorks. So let's go ahead and just create a simple object like a circle. So once you create a circle, and notice I'm not always going to fully define these quick demos, but you guys should be in the habit of doing that. But just for the sake of demonstration, you could see that here we have a cylinder that's been extrude bossed, right? So that's pretty simple. So here you could drag it if you're eyeballing something, but if you know the exact dimension, you could type it in. And you could also add like a draft here. So you can see what a draft is it'll taper it on one end. So that's the angle of the draft. Or you could draft it outwards. And then you can also extrude boss the second direction. So maybe you have two directions you're extrude bossing. Okay. So it's really up to the design preference. Usually I extrude boss in one direction, but there may be special cases where you want to do both. And then usually by default, if you have a sketch like this, you don't need to select a contour. But if it's a more complicated one and you have like different parts of the sketch that you want to extrude boss, then that's where that would come in. Okay, so let's say you screwed up, you could delete this. If I come here and add another thing to my sketch, so I'm gonna come here and go normal. So maybe you have like two contours here, right? And you only want to extrude boss one of them. So that is where the selected contours would come in. You could choose which contour you want to extrude boss. Okay, so that's what that is. But let's go back and look at just our single circle case. So in our single circle case here, when we were trying to extrude boss it, there's different options. You have your sketch plane, a surface plane. So sometimes if you have like a different place that you're sketching off of, you could choose these options accordingly. But here you could have like a up to surface, offset from surface, up to body, or mid plane. So again, these are useful when you have other features that's already present. So let's say let's say we have this block here, okay, and then maybe on the same top plane we're gonna make another sketch. So let's say we're adding some rectangle feature here that sticks out. Okay, so maybe we want to extrude boss this. So if it's blind, it'll be some distance, but you can also say like up to surface, then you could say I want it to be the same height as this. So that's what the up to surface is. And that way, if you modify one of the features here, let's say you made this a little bit longer, then this other additional feature will adjust with it because it's going along with that surface. But if you come back here and made this blind, so let's say it's 3 inches, then in that case, if you change the height of one of the items, the other one won't follow with you. Okay, so that's what these options are for. And then you can also change the direction of your boss. You could make it go the other way. And then you have these other special cases that you could have like through all. In this case, through all doesn't make sense because it'll just go on forever, so it just doesn't show it. You could do like up to body if there's like a certain body, but here the surface makes more sense. So you could play with those different settings, but the blind and up to surface I would say are like the most common ones that I use. So that should get you started for the extrude boss feature. And another thing to make note of is you could really extrude boss in any direction. So here we're doing it in one plane, but you could go ahead and like let's say you make a sketch on this plane. You could let's say I sketch a circle here. I could go ahead and extrude boss this surface here. I'm gonna do a blind one. So I can make like extrude boss in like literally any direction. As long as you have a surface, you could sketch on the surface and you could do the extrude boss on that surface. Okay, so it's really flexible in terms of what I can do, but really the core concept is you have a sketch and then you make it 3D by stretching it out normal to it. Okay. So that pretty much summarizes the extrude boss base features. And as you design more, you'll see different ways you can use this. Okay, so if you found this video helpful, give it a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.